Hello, welcome back. This is the third episode in the Mental Strength Training Workshop series. My name's Nicole Glisson, and I'm going to guide you through something today that, if we go back to the model of the sailboat and all of the different ways that we can use that as a metaphor, we're going to look at one of the things that helps us keep direction, or the steering wheel as a part of that metaphor. And really, it's about understanding what's important to you and what you need. So we're going to start by looking at some of the things that help you to make decisions in your life. You might have heard the term values sort of discussed in different ways. And really, I like to think about values as a sense of signposts. They give you a sense of, well, what is it that's actually important to you, and what will help you decide how you're going to spend your time, how you're going to spend your energy, and any other resources that you're going to be giving. It also helps you to have a sense of, what are you going to prioritize? And sometimes when you're feeling a sense of inner conflict or turmoil, it's actually because you're living or operating in some way that's in conflict with some of your core values. So I encourage you to, at this point, do three things. Once I've finished explaining, pause this video and have a look at the list of values that are on the screen. This is not a definitive list, so if there are other things that come to mind for you, feel free to add your own. And I suggest that firstly, you go through and select between 5 and 10 values that you see as being sort of the most important things that guide who you are and what's important to you. So that's number one. Number two, go through, once you've got that list, go through and rank them. So look at which of those values is actually the most important to you, and with however many values you have, rank them 1 to 5, 1 to 10, etc. And then number three is look at those top 3 values. Look at the ones that you have prioritized as being most important to you. And I encourage you to either think deeply, but more importantly, write about some of the ways that you see those values shaping your decisions in everyday life, how you see them shaping your relationships, your motivation, and essentially some of the decisions or choices that you make. So that's the first stage. Feel free to pause the video now and have a bit of an exploration of your values. The next step is to look at something that I like to refer to as our core needs. Now, I've used a model here from Anthony Robbins, who is a coach and a speaker, and I really like this model because it gives us some really clear things to look for. Now, each of these 6 needs are within all of us, and really it's just about looking at which ones do you need to have met to a higher degree. So let me just tell you a little bit about each one, and then I encourage you to do some of your own reflecting on how do they show up. What is your gut reaction to each of these needs? So the first 2 kind of work together. The first one is about having a high level of certainty, or at the degree to which certainty is an important need in your life. So you might have this really strong need for being reassured, things being able to be planned, the idea that safety and security is really high on your needs. You might have the idea that you feel very secure when you can map things out in front of you. So if that sounds like you, maybe certainty is high on your needs. Not the flip side, but the parallel to that is some people have a high need for either variety or uncertainty. So you might be someone who likes to have, new things happening all the time, keep things fresh and adventurous. The idea of challenge and change. And if you're someone who likes the idea of not necessarily knowing how one day is going to finish and what's ahead of you, and to be sort of excited by the unknown, then maybe you have a high need for uncertainty or variety. Now, it's not out of the question that you'd have a high need for both, but it's quite unusual. So generally, we have a tendency, it's a little bit like a seesaw. We have a tendency to either have a higher need for certainty or a higher need for uncertainty. So think about what might be the case for you. And I encourage you to give each of these needs a score from 1 to 10. So 10 might be it's absolutely essential. 1 might be it's very low. It barely registers. The next two also to some degree complement each other. So number 3 is about your need for significance. And this is about feeling a sense of recognition for things that you do, feeling special or important. Sometimes it can be about independence and autonomy. And if you feel like that sense of that you need to share the experiences that you've had, the things that you do, then maybe significance is high on your level of needs. Now, for some others, the 4th need is about connection and love. So the idea of feeling that strong sense of closeness or union with someone else or something. So again, they're not opposites, significance and connection and love there. But generally, you will have more of a need for one over the other. Okay, not impossible to have high needs or low needs in both, but generally we find that one will be higher than the other. So those are all needs in terms of our personalities. The final 2 are a little bit more outwards thinking. So number 5 is about growth. So that idea of expansion of and your development, learning, having a sense of building your capability, understanding. If you had a high strength of love of learning, maybe growth might be one that's high on your needs. So you want to keep like you're feeling that sense of development in learning. And then our number 6, and these two don't necessarily work in tandem in the same way, but they could do, contribution. Okay, so the idea of giving to others, giving to something outside of or bigger than yourself. And so again, if you're quite altruistic, you feel very compelled to give your time and your energy to others around you without necessarily having any desire or need to be recognized for that, then maybe contribution is high on your need. So as I mentioned, the idea is to go through, rank them 1 to 10 each, and then spend a little bit of time reflecting on how do you know one of those needs is higher or lower? Where do you see it in your life? And what does it cost you, or what kind of impact do you feel or notice when that need is not being met? And so this is, remember, all about building that sense of awareness. So I just want to leave you with those 2 main areas of exploration today. Looking at your values, looking at your needs. And of course, if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to email me or come and see me. You can drop me a line also. Have a great rest of your day and keep curious.